Akwa Ibom, the best place to be. Welcome to Akwa Ibom, the promised land. I discover Akwa Ibom, a peaceful people. So you are welcome to Akwa Ibom. Come on, come in. I said, come, live, walk and invest in Akwa Ibom. This is the promised land. Come, walk and live and invest in Akwa Ibom. Discover Akwa Ibom.
Oh yes, Governor Udom Emmanuel's administration that is people-oriented, vested in capacity, embodied with superior performance and rendered on integrity has attracted global commentaries and attention. The Americans said it, even the military confirms.
We are here following the wonderful success story that are emanating from your...
Our own Vice President relocates.
So when I think of a second home, of course Akwa Ibom is a good place.
China has joined. Are you an investor or entrepreneur? The 21-story intelligent building, good road network, well-equipped hospitals scattered all over the state with a world-class airline, 18 functional industries and still counting. These and many more are the reason we invite you. Come, live, walk and invest in Akwa Ibom. Be part of the completion agenda. Only God.
The advent of the novel coronavirus, COVID-19, as a global pandemic has no doubt brought about growing concerns and uncertainties to the global community. That the virus has no respect for national barrier has intensified global anxiety over public health as well as global and national economies. Given the crisis that nations of the world are currently grappling with because of the novel coronavirus pandemic, there is urgent need for proactive leaders who can think out of the box with effective turnkeys in the fight to eliminate COVID-19. Fortunately for Akwa Ibom State, the above prescription for competency in leadership best defines the efficient leadership of Governor Udom Emmanuel in the state, given his deep vision, commitment, and dexterity in the management of the COVID-19 pandemic. Since March 2020, when the virus made its first incursion into Akwa Ibom State, the governor has led the COVID-19 battle from the front line, spending sleepless nights on tactical planning as well as committing enormous time, energy, and material resources to execute the warfare. Moreover, as he knew the world will one day be on its knees, running from pillar to post in search of medical palliatives to mitigate the effect of COVID-19, the governor had, since his assumption of office in 2015, positioned the healthcare sector as paramount in his agenda for the state, committing huge investments in this direction. Today, the gains of these investments are very visible, highlighting our medical landscapes in great abundance and magnificence.
To the glory of God and based on our proactive leadership style, this new reality brought about by COVID-19 did not miss us unprepared. In the past 5 years, we have poured enormous resources in ensuring that our secondary healthcare services is top-notch, from remodeling of hospitals across the 10 federal constituencies, such as Etinan General Hospital, Methodist Hospital Itumbak, General Hospital Ikwitaran, Ikorokoro, Ikono, to the world-class isolation centers at the Ibom Specialist Hospital, the one at Ikoregbene, and the icing on the cake, the 300-bed isolation center at Itumbak.
One of the outstanding signposts of Governor Udom Emmanuel's proactivity in the fight against COVID-19 is a 300-bed state-of-the-art isolation center and disease control hospital in Itukumbang. Stretching over a 2,400 square meters area at Itukumbang in Uran local government area of Akwa Ibom state. The isolation center is a magnificent architectural masterpiece which houses the ultra-modern infectious diseases hospital, an irresistible structure reputed to be one of the best of such facilities in the country.
What you find in front of you is an evidence of leadership and capacity. Secondly, from bush to what you see today. 6 years ago, when His Excellency the Governor gave this directive, it was bush. And I was wondering how this bush would metamorphose into a building of this type. So credit to leadership. Part of the His Excellency's vision is the content of the isolation center. When you go inside and you see the level of automation inside this smart and intelligent isolation center, it took a man of vision who saw today, yesterday, to make sure that these pieces of equipment that you find right inside were copiously available for the use of Akwa Ibom State. Credit to leadership.
What is most amazing about this seemingly eighth wonder of the world in the COVID-19 rapid response is that it took barely 6 weeks from the commencement of the project to its completion, with state-of-the-art medical equipment and standard buildings, with its attendant aesthetic quality.
We've been here day and night to be able to meet up that, and here we are today that we've not just built the isolation center, we've fitted it into all the requirements. We've built a canteen, we've built a lab that has both the clinical and the biology lab. We've built quarters for the chief medical directors. We made provision for constant electricity, and most important of all, we've provided 20-room self-contained apartment for what you call the core room.
The center, which has been visited by various stakeholders, including officials from the World Health Organization, Nigeria's Center for Disease Control, members of parliament, among others, was initiated by Governor Udom Emmanuel as an additional center for the smooth management of the coronavirus pandemic in the state, as he deliberately refused to go for a temporary structure.
Akwa Ibom, from history, has always been a pace setter. Within a short time that you have put all the properties in readiness to combat diseases outside, or the viruses outside even COVID. And then for the government to think about post-COVID, we are impressed. As members of the National Assembly in which he fought for us, and we thank you for this great work that you have done.
On behalf of the members of this committee, COVID-19 response in Akwa Ibom State, we want to register our appreciation to His Excellency, because he started in a way that you could clearly see that he has a sense of direction. He is focused, and the very idea of setting up this isolation center, this is an achievement that will reposition Akwa Ibom prominently in the map of committees.
On behalf of the WHO, I am very grateful. When this started, honestly, the first impression was, how could we, within this crisis, managing this crisis and building a brand new isolation center? People thought it was probably not going to be. But what we have seen today has added to the fact that the governor means well for this state.
Today, in line with the vision of the governor, the isolation center is standing ready for use within record time.
We hereby commission this center as a 300-bed isolation center In the name of God the Father, in the name of God the Son, and in the name of God the Holy Spirit.
Significantly, the Infectious Disease Hospital Itumbang, constructed and solely owned by the Akwa Ibom State Government, is reputed to accommodate the first state-owned molecular laboratory in Nigeria, built to standard approved by the World Health Organization and the Nigerian Center for Disease Control.
If you look at the facility too, it has got its own laboratory. The laboratory is a very big one. There is a segment specially prepared to contain the PCR molecular lab, where you can test for viruses. We have been going to far places to test, but after this commissioning, all our tests will be done here. We have invited NCDC, and we are looking through our facilities now to see that it meets the international standard for the testing for viruses.
Let me begin by appreciating the Akwa Ibom State government for developing such a very wonderful facility. This will be one of the first isolation centers purposely built with a well-equipped laboratory. This is the molecular diagnostic unit where we'll be doing COVID testing. And behind me, we are trying to calibrate our machine, getting ready for COVID testing.
The facility, which boasts of some cutting-edge medical amenities, is envisioned by Governor Udom Emmanuel to expand the state's infectious disease management capabilities in line with guidelines by the NCDC.
The assessment of the Smart Isolation Center is top-notch. It is the best in this part of Africa. When you compare what is obtainable in other centers, where makeshifts is done, makeshift buildings are made for isolation center. So that's why I said that His Excellency Governor Udom Gabriel Emmanuel is futuristic, in that the isolation center is built from the scratch and it is a solid building.
I am an Akwa Ibomite and I rise to the thread of greatness.
Akwa Ibom State, the pinnacle of peace, unity and prosperity, home of investors, piloted by His Excellency Governor Udom Emmanuel. Few years of fulfilled promises in the areas of industrialization, agriculture and food security, free and compulsory education, free healthcare delivery to the young ones and the elderly, infrastructural transformation and human capacity development, youth and sport, transport and tourism. Come and be part of the completion agenda.
I like Governor Udom Emmanuel and I love what he's doing in Akwa Ibom State.
We've never had it so good. Only God.
The ultra-modern Infectious Diseases Hospital Itumbang comes with a full complement of a molecular laboratory, clinical laboratory, isolation center, doctor's quarters, canteen, administrative building, and other infrastructure, as well as luxurious amenities for both patients and medical team, as part of measures to contain and manage the coronavirus pandemic as well as other infectious diseases. The facility, as an infectious disease center, is designed to give procedural entrance and exit for both medical personnel and patients to ensure that biosecurity standards are complied with. The main entrance of the isolation center opens to a reception flanked by a nurse's station, consulting room with conveniences, and changing rooms. No doctor or nurse is permitted to get in without first changing to their personal protective equipment, PPE. Here, medical personnel on duty make exit from the forwards properly through a fumigation cubicle where they will drop their fumigated PPEs to be incinerated. There are 2 toilets, male and female, 2 bathrooms, male and female, and 2 changing rooms, male and female, for exiting medical personnel on duty. There is a link way by a gate through the doctor's quarters, which only doctors and nurses on duty have the key out. No one can come in through this gate. There are 4 big wards in the isolation center, which accommodate about 75 beds each. Each ward has equal units of 5 bathrooms and 5 toilets, with 2 giant screens for patients' view from any part of the world.
Any case that becomes complicated, like in the case of COVID, if they begin to have severe respiratory problem, we have an ICU with ventilators. We have capable people, anesthetists and intensive care unit nurses that will be able to man that place. We have the other remaining beds, the private section and the open ward, with automated beds that we imported.
To optimize communication efficiency within the wards, since the facility is designed for infectious diseases management, there are no less than 20 intercom lines for patients in each of the wards.
That facility is smart in the sense that everything that you require in an isolation center is within. It's intelligent because we have all the communication gadgets. If you come to the receptionist area as you enter, the receptionist will be able to see the entire hospital and the surrounding environment with CCTV cameras. That 24 of them are buried inside because of the fact that if a patient has an issue, he can't just come out and a nurse can't just run in. We needed to have them monitored so that if there are movements, we'll be able to know what happened. Each of the wards have about 20 intercom lines using long wires. With the intercom line, with the CCTV, we needed to provide a level of comfort. So we brought in DSTV, 2 in each of the wards, 2 well positioned to allow you wherever you are lying on your bed to follow the global event.
The doctor's quarters has 20 en-suite rooms. The 1-story building has 10 en-suite rooms, upstairs and downstairs respectively. Primarily, the quarter is to serve the accommodation needs of doctors and nurses on duty at the isolation center.
I was particularly impressed by the fact that taking that issue of providing a comfortable accommodation, safe, comfortable accommodation for the frontline health workers, the doctors, the nurses and all that. And that's good. I'm very, very impressed about that because these are people that will be most of the time here by nature of the center. They will be here most of the time, and we don't want a situation where a health worker is needed and that person cannot be reached immediately.
There is a specific entrance and parking space for ambulance, which no one or any other vehicle can use. This provision is for effective handling of emergencies and proper management of cases. One of the unique selling points of this ultra-modern isolation center in Itumbang is that it comes with a full complement of cutting-edge molecular and clinical laboratories, built to standard approved by the World Health Organization (WHO) and the Nigerian Center for Disease Control (NCDC). As earlier mentioned, the facility is the first molecular laboratory owned by a state government in Nigeria. According to health professionals, the new center owned solely by the Akwa Ibom state government will not only add value to training and scholarships, but will also contribute to efforts by the country to scale up biotechnology research for COVID-19 and other maladies like cancer, HIV, tuberculosis, and other infectious diseases.
This place is going to be a reference center because we are looking at post-COVID-19. By the grace of God, COVID-19 has come and will go. And we are going to turn the facility here to continue testing for COVID-19 as well as test other infectious diseases at the molecular level. And not only state government, federal institutions will also benefit from the facility here to do research. Our postgraduate students will travel to other states, as well as Lagos, Ibadan, to do their molecular testing. So we really appreciate the governor of the state, Governor Emmanuel, for the insights and support to bring about what we are seeing here.
The commitment of the government to excellent delivery of healthcare services in the facility is further demonstrated by the high quality of support amenities such as power and water available for its use.
The moment we started, we discovered that the borehole wasn't going to be sufficient. So we quickly created the borehole. The submerged day is 2.5 horsepower. And what came to my mind was, if somebody is isolated, and they may need to drink water, so we decided to bring in the state-of-the-art water treatment plant. For lighting system, when we arrived there, I think they had just 2 functional generators, the 10 kVA and a 20 kVA. So we now brought in a 150 kVA. We brought in a 200 that at maximum hour, and the 150 will run daily.
Addressing Akwa Ibom people and other Nigerians who turned up for the inauguration of the isolation center in Itukumbang with their face mask and millions of others who could only watch the ceremony via live broadcast because of COVID-19. Governor Udom Emmanuel noted that his government was adopting a holistic approach to winning the COVID-19 pandemic.
We have a whole lot of commitment on our healthcare delivery system. As I'm talking to you right now, our next batch of about 25 containers of medical equipment have started arriving. We've had equipment that can give us ICU, modern ICU. I don't mean old ICU, year 2020 ICU that we want to set up in all the 3 senatorial districts. Those equipment have arrived, we've cleared them, it's already in our warehouse. And we're going to do a lot more. Now we are in a haste. Every single federal constituency will have a very well-equipped modern general hospital. Well-equipped, equipped to 2020 standard. The reason being that anywhere you are in Akwa Ibom, within 1 hour, you should be able to reach a world-class medical service. Started inspecting the modern ambulances that we are bringing in. Those ambulances will be placed in strategic locations across the states. Wherever there is an emergency, you don't need to start coming all the way to you. No, not at all. Everywhere you are, there will be where you can have access.
If you look at the circumstances, the situation all over the world, this is one of the good things done to help us fight this disease. I went through it and it's perfect. So I thank the governor for this good work.
For me, I consider the just completed isolation center as the 8th wonder in Akwa Ibom. The reason being that I was here ab initio when it was just trees, the abandoned old buildings, and just a whole mess, as it were. And then from the point of excavation, the removal of the trees and the bringing down the buildings and the materials and the rubble and everything was taken out, and then foundations were dug up, and then the buildings started emerging. And not just this building, the laboratory, the canteen, the quarters, and then the residential quarters for doctors, all in just over 30 days. If that's not a wonder.
I am very glad, I'm happy about what I've seen and what the government is doing in this place. I so much thank God for our governor. I am glad for what I've seen the government doing.
It's amazing that what we have seen today have shocked the people of this state. And I think people outside the state will be surprised that if such a project within days is completed and all the facilities required are all installed. So we, in my own capacity as the king of this land, in my capacity on behalf of the Traditional Council of Akwa Ibom State, we really want to applaud His Excellency for his good works. He has done very well, and we are proud to identify with his dreams and aspirations for the people of Akwa Ibom State.
With his people-oriented governance style, exemplified in the manner he has successfully piloted the management of the COVID-19 pandemic in the state, particularly with the construction of the state-of-the-art Akwa Ibom State Isolation Center, which has aptly been described as from a bush to a world-class isolation center in 6 weeks. Governor Udom Emmanuel has once again proven his capacity and dexterity in leadership, reassuring Akwa Ibom people and indeed other well-meaning persons that his choice to govern the state was divinely premeditated, particularly for a precarious time like this.
Portrait of achievements by Governor Udom Emmanuel in the area of industrialization. He started with toothpick manufacturing factory, pencil factory, a coke pen factory that was abandoned for several years, and he revamped it within 100 days in office. Plywood and timber factory, block factory, metering solution factory, syringe factory, flour mill factory, fertilizer blending factory, coconut refinery, rice mill factory, plastic manufacturing factory, aviation industry, and the establishment of Ibom Air. Aqua Prime Hatchery, cassava processing factory, starch processing factory, and more are still coming. Come, live, work, and invest in Akwa Ibom. Only God, powered by the Ministry of Information, Akwa Ibom State.